Hello there everybody, how's it going, and welcome back to RTP Gaming, where today we are going to be doing episode 19 of the Guess That Tune series. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. We are going to actually be, rather than playing the full screen of the guesses and the video clips of the guesses from last week, we're going to just put them up there in that top right hand corner, and I'm going to be doing like a little talk over of those games from last week. So that's what we're going to be doing in this installment, but first we're going to go through the guesses of last week, see how many people actually got those tunes. So let's do a quick run through. We had the Portly Gamer. The Portly Gamer came out and said that he thought guess 1 was Chuck Rock, and I can confirm that is correct. We will be going through that in a minute. But he had no idea for 2 and 3. We had Aussie Man, who had a guess at Donkey Kong Country or Monkey Island, and unfortunately it was neither. Then he had another guess, I think, at No Man's Land for 3, and then also Dark Souls for 3. Unfortunately both of those were wrong, man, but unlucky, but good luck next week with this one. Well, good luck this week with this week's tunes. Then we had Tyrese Edwards, who didn't actually have a guess, but he just basically said that everything that was on that guess was very, very difficult, so I don't think he really wanted to chance a guess at that. Then we had the Redneck Gamer, and the Redneck Gamer always gets very, very close, if not all of them. So he went for Tune 1, which was a Genesis Mega Drive game, which he said was Chuck Rock, which was correct. Then he had Tune 2, stumped, had no idea. And then he had tune number 3 and said it was Uncharted 4. You were right, my friend. It was Uncharted 4. So then we had Zinx, who said, you know, he didn't want to have a guess at 1 and 2. I think he had absolutely no idea, but he said tune 3 was Uncharted 4. So you, sir, are correct. 1 out of 3. Then he had Planetary Ashes, and Planetary Ashes said that 1 and 2 were a bit of a doozy. Didn't really know. But he went for 3 being Uncharted 4, which obviously is correct. But he was, he was very complimentary on the tunes from this week, because they were very, very difficult. As I say, 1 and 2 were pretty hard. I mean, I would have thought you would have got Chuck Rock, but some of you did. But tune number 2 was very, very difficult. So you'll see what tune number 2 was in a minute. But yeah, it was pretty hard. And Dimmy V Gaming went for Chuck Rock for tune number 1 and went for Uncharted 4 for tune number 3. Had no idea about tune number 2. So that were the guesses from last week. This week, as I said before, I'm just gonna give you a rundown of what they were last week. As we know, you had Chuck Rock and Uncharted 4. But this week what we're gonna do is I'm gonna play those video clips in the top right there. So here we go. So, tune number 1 was Chuck Rock, as you can see in the top right hand corner there. It had a really sort of cool opening sequence to it, where they had like a band that was all playing like some tunes and everything, and the tune was really, really cool. I really buzzed off that, and it was quite hard to remember a game where it had a really top tune in it. So Chuck Rock was the first one that came to mind when I thought about it last week. So that was Chuck Rock, and basically you played as a caveman. The game came out in 1991, I think. Yeah, it came out in 1991 for the Sega Mega Drive. So that was really, really cool. If you got that, really well done. It was quite an iconic game though. So that was tune number 1. Tune number 2 was an Amiga game, which is why probably nobody got him, because, if you had a Commodore Amiga, then you're probably around my age, getting on for 30. So, Amiga games were quite difficult, but the Amiga game it was WizKid. Now, WizKid was a game where you basically played the game in 2 parts. One of those parts you were a little head, and you sort of had to bounce things on your head and like knock them into enemies, and they'd bounce around the screen and kill bugs and stuff. And the other side of that as well, where you got a little body, and when you had the little body you had to solve certain puzzles. There was a particular level where you had to go down a well and flush a toilet, ironically, and it would set off a volcano. Bizarre. Really bizarre game. That came out in 1992, so I was actually very surprised when I did my research on this that WizKid came out after Chuck Rock. even though it was for the Amiga, which I just thought was a bit weird. It was from Ocean. So that was tune number 2. The other thing that I wanted to mention about WizKid as well was it was a ludicrously difficult game, because from level to level to level you had to collect cats, and the cats that you had to collect rowed a boat. They rowed a boat outwards to a castle, and that's basically the whole point of the game. It was really, really weird. It was a completely bizarre game, but none of you got them, but I don't blame you because it was very, very difficult. And finally, tune number 3 was Uncharted 4, as quite a lot of you got. Obviously, it was a 2016 game. 2016 game? Yeah, I think it was 2016. And it was Uncharted 4 for me. I played all the other ones, and aside from Uncharted 1, which was really good, and 2 was pretty good as well, you know, I always thought that 4 was the better game because it tied all of the other ones together, which, you know, was really good, and it had a very fitting ending, I thought. So Uncharted 4 for me was probably the best Uncharted game. I know that's going to sound a bit controversial, as a lot of people liked 2 and 3. So, you know, but for me, Uncharted 4 was the best game. It just had a better ending, it had better graphics, had better gameplay, it had a better story. That's just my opinion, though. I know that will be a bit touchy subject for a lot of people. So, as I say before, I hope you liked the what am I doing? I hope you liked the video clip thing up in the corner. I don't know whether that's better. If you guys think that it's better, then we'll keep it in for future videos. But if you don't like it and you want me to go back to full screen, then we can always go back to full screen. Just leave me some feedback and let me know. So that's tunes from last week. This week, some of them are pretty difficult. I think maybe there's one pretty decent Mega Drive theme in there. There's one that was PC based and PlayStation based, and to be honest with you, if you get that one, I'll be very impressed, because I didn't even know it had a soundtrack. So that's one. It was sort of suggested to me by somebody else outside of YouTube. So when I actually played it, I thought, what? This actually had a theme? I don't ever remember it having a theme. So if you get that one, fair play. And the other one was a PlayStation game. I think you'll get them this week, to be honest with you. They're not, you know, they're not too difficult, I don't think. But I think you'll get it. I think you'll get it. I don't think you'll struggle with it all that much. So good luck this week. Hope you all get them. Let's move in to the new tunes. Here we go.